Greetings, everyone. I'm Bart, the Success Educator, and welcome to Hump Day Hangover. Today kicks off a new web series dedicated to anyone who is experiencing or has experienced a Hump Day Hangover. So what is a Hump Day Hangover? Hump Day Hangover is based on the Bartism that if M is Monday, T is Tuesday, have you ever realized the rest of the week is WTF? Now let that sink in for a moment. You may have had a miserable Monday. You may have had a terrible Tuesday. You probably can't wait until Thursday. But today is Hump Day. Now this web series is going to drop every Wednesday, and my goal is to provide you with nuggets of motivation as to how you can make each day count. Because you see, the one non-negotiable that we have, and the one thing that we know, is today is the only day that we're guaranteed. So we've got to make it count. Now this web series is based on my book, my best-selling book, My Moment to Succeed. This book is available on Amazon.com as well as out on eBay. And to kick off this new series, I'm going to provide you with a very special offer just in time for the holidays. So stay tuned to the end of this series to learn more about that. So join me. Grab a cup of coffee or a cocktail and let's get started. This is Hump Day Hangover. Now, every morning when you wake up, you have two choices. You can continue to sleep with your dreams, or you can wake up and chase them. Now that piece of inspiration comes from Benji Swimmer, which has the dedication here in my book. Benji, as some of you may know, won the second season of So You Think You Can Dance. And let me just tell you, this guy is a true phenomenon, a true inspiration. And so every morning when I wake up, I think, you know what? You're right, Benji. I have two choices. I can either stay in bed with my dreams, or I can wake up and chase them. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to make today count, how to make it happen. Now, each morning as the sun rises, you're afforded a new opportunity. Now, only you can take advantage and create powerful results. No one else can do it for you. As my t-shirt reads, if it is to be, it is up to me. This is one of my Bartisms that you'll find out on my website, successeducator.com, but also this has become my personal mantra, and it should be yours. No one can do it for you. No one can make your decision for you. Now, in future episodes, we'll talk about decision making and the things that you do, but today I want to focus on one thing, and that is, how do you start making a difference? How do you start making today count? And the very first thing you've got to do is make room for surprises. When was the last time you said, wow, I even surprised myself? When you make room for surprises, you begin to realize that life cannot be undone. What is. Understand it, learn from it, grow, and change. Because when you make room for surprises, you make every moment a moment without regret, guilt, fear, or anger. Let's talk about that for just a moment. Regret. Yeah, old Blue Eyes sang this song, regrets. I have a few, but then again, too few to mention. But regrets aren't really anything. And here's something I want to propose to you. There is no such thing as a regret. If you think about something that you may have done that you wish you could undo, if you learned from that, it's not a regret. It's now become a learning experience. And that's something else we'll talk about too in a future session, is mistakes. I firmly believe there is no such thing as a mistake as long as you learn from it. Because once you learn from it, be it a mistake or be it what you call a regret, then it now becomes a learning opportunity. It is no longer a mistake or a regret. Second thing, guilt. Funny thing about guilt is it can always dish up more. So how do you deal with guilt? Well, again, I don't believe there's anything to be guilty about. if you did something and it was wrong, and I got a great session coming up that talks about these things I call attaboys, but it's a great thing to, if you did something and you feel guilty for it, get over it. Guilt has no reason or no purpose in your life. The third thing I mentioned was fear. Fear is an acronym that stands for false evidence appearing real. Repeat that to you. Fear is an acronym that means false evidence appearing real. And when you have fear, you have two choices. The first choice is you can forget everything and run. And the second choice is you can face everything and rise. And finally, anger. All anger does is breed inside of you. Gives you indigestion, gives you sleepless night, gives you heartburns. When you can learn to control or eliminate regret, guilt, fear, and anger, that's when you start making every moment count. So I want you to commit today to making every moment a moment of wisdom, a moment of understanding, and a moment of love. Because wisdom is something you have inside of you. You know, the subconscious controls about 95% of what we think and do. If you realize that or not, but the subconscious controls about 95% of what you think and do. And if you think about it, when you become wiser because of the things you have done, you start to manipulate and control your subconscious. So your subconscious becomes a more powerful force for you as you move through life. Understanding. We all have an understanding of something. Commit to being a lifelong learner. Commit to being a person who really pulls it together and knows what they're about. And finally, love. Love begins with one thing, and that is loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can anyone else? If you can't stand in front of the mirror every morning and look in the mirror and say, hey, I love you, no one else can either. And you might say, God, you know, this guy Bart, he's a kook. I ain't going to stand in front of a mirror and say, I love you. Try it. If you can do it and you can feel it, then you know you're becoming a person that you were destined to be. The other thing to think about too is I want you to really start observing the people closest to you. Who are the people you interact the most with? In a future session, we're going to talk about this in more detail. Now, Jim Rohn, who's a guru in personal empowerment, personal development, says that you are the average of the 5 people you most associate with. So think about who are those 5 people you most associate with at home, socially, and at work. And socially, I want to toss something else in there. Think about social media. Think about what goes on in social media. Are there people that you communicate with frequently? Because if there are, those are the people you need to put in that circle that you observe and interact with the most. And I'll give you a good example. I have 3 people that are in my circle of what I call my top 5. I've never met them. 2 live down in Australia, and 1 lives in Minneapolis. And we communicate frequently, sometimes once a week, if not more often. We communicate by Skype, by Facebook Messenger, by email, by FaceTime. They are important people to me. They become my mentors. They become people that I really respect and really want to have as significant people in my life. And so how does this happen? There's a thing that we'll get into later too called the law of attraction. And the law of attraction simply says when you have a common thirst for life and a genuine passion for living life to the fullest, the law of attraction starts to kick in. I also believe there's no such thing as a coincidence. I believe everything happens for a reason. So look for that reason. Now I want you to really work on pursuing your passion with non-stop action and make your passion and your purpose become one. So real quickly, how do you do that, Bart? Well, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to start today And I want you to smile at one new person today. And every day, smile at someone new. That's all it takes, is a quick smile. Because what happens is, the universe recognizes what you've done. And that starts to come back to you. You know, some people say karma's a bitch. I think karma's kind of cool. Because when you start smiling at other people start smiling at you. Your goal is to open your life to more freedom and more possibilities. And that begins with a simple smile. Promises can be broken, but surprises can't. And when someone smiles at you, there's a surprise coming to you. The more surprises you have, the more you begin to live your life by your design. So I want to finish with my Bardism for this session. And the Bardism is, never expect things to happen. It's better to be surprised than to be disappointed. And occasionally, you have to blow your own damn mind. So I mentioned to you earlier about my book here, My Moment to Succeed. Here's a special offer for you. Go to Amazon or go to eBay, purchase the book, and I'm going to personalize it as well as sign the book for anyone you want to send it to, and I will mail it to them free of charge. So right inside the book here, I'm going to put my signature and whatever message you want. If you purchase the book, I'll send you an email asking you how would you like this personalized. I do it that day. By the next morning, it's in the mail to you. Again, this is Bart, and this is Hump Day Hangover. Hope you've enjoyed this session. Click that subscribe button down there, and you'll subscribe to this, and you'll know every Wednesday when I drop a new session on Hump Day Hangover. Until then, remember, the rest of the week may be WTF, but it's up to you to make it happen. This is Bart, the Success Educator. Subscribe to it, find me at successeducator.com, and follow me on social media. Ciao.